Hi, thanks for checking out another one of our videos here. This is going to be possibly how to repair a video, or at least how to test video on an older version Blitzer 8901's particular unit's a 2010 model based on the first two digits of that, 2010. It's a 1 joule output unit. It's 25 miles of fence, up to 25 miles of fence. So on this mileage rating stuff that a lot of brands will label and spout off about their units, a lot of that is single wire that's high tensile, the 12.5 gauge high tensile wire that's perfectly clean. So that's what that mileage rating is based off of. Now if you start using the braided rope type wire or multiple strands or whatever, then that mileage just cut it down by a lot. So I have to kind of take that into consideration when you look at these mileage rating things. And that mileage rating gets people in trouble sometimes. Like, oh, I only got a quarter-mile fence. Well, what are you using? What kind of animals are you keeping in, and this and that. So sometimes you got to take in consideration what you're trying to do. What size fence chart, or what type of animals are you dealing with? What kind of, is the fence clean? A lot of grass on it. They're using braided wire, smooth wire, 12.5 gauge wire, aluminum, 18 gauge, 16 gauge wire. What kind of wire are you using? Because all that stuff, that mileage rating stuff is just a best case, pie in the sky, single strand, high tensile wire scenario. So it gets people in trouble. Like, well, I got a half mile of fence, quarter mile, or whatever mile of fence, so that 25 miles, I'll just blow right through it. Yeah, well, it's only 1 joule, so this you got to kind of have to pick your battles a little bit and figure out what you actually need versus what this stupid number means. So that little card there was all my information. So if you got one of these you want to send in to us for repair, we'll be happy to take a look at it for you. Let's go ahead and we'll plug it in real quick. You usually don't plug things in. You should just open them up, but we'll plug it in real quick, see what it does. Alright, well, it's clicking. Light's not flashing, but that's cosmetic. That's a probably burned out or something wrong with it. But we're getting barely 2,000 volts. Things should be probably 6 or higher, 6,000 or higher. So turn it off. So at least it's clicking and pulsing. That's half the battle right there. So let's take these screws out. Pull the back cover off. Nothing inside there. Alright. So more than likely the problem is this transformer, because it is clicking and pulsing, so the board's doing its job. With it being about 10 years old, capacitor could be a little weak. We'll check it while we're in there just to make sure. Now, a weak capacitor will not make the voltage on the output low typically. All the capacitor does discharges its energy through the board to the transformer. That transformer takes that power and bumps it up, spits it out basically, voltage wise and everything. And well, hold on for a second. I'm gonna plug this back in because the transformer that we put inside these is not the factory one. We use a little bit better one, but I reuse these wires on them, so this transformer we can just get rid of. But I imagine the windings on the secondary side are probably bad. So we'll check this capacitor first. It says it's a 7.5 microfarad capacitor, which is not very stout, but it's only a 1 joule unit. So there is no polarity. So it does have a black and a red for positive and negative, but these do not have a polarity, so it doesn't matter which wire goes where. Rated 9.4 roughly, but it could be that where's my discharge deal? This is gonna have to work, I guess. Oh, there it is. This big resistor here and bleed that power off. So it could be, it's supposed to be reading 7.5, it's reading like 9.5. It's probably getting some extra, these little yellow things on there, those are capacitors as well. So it's probably adding those into it. 7.2 out of 7.5, that's plenty, that's close enough. You're not going to gain that much by changing the capacitor out. Now this does need to be tightened up, it's kind of loose on the capacitor, so we'll cinch that down a little bit. See that negative one, or the black one's, that's a little loose. Okay. Let me go grab another capacitor. Or transformer. Alright, this is the transformer we're going to use. This is made for up to a 4 joule unit. This being a 1 joule, this transformer can handle the power with no issues. Alright, it will sit right down inside there, kind of like the old one did, but it's a little funky in there, but it fits, and once you put the lid on it, it stays in place. Now this one's got the little light bulb belt onto it. This one does not have a bulb on it, but it will click and thump and snap. It also puts out a lot more current and a lot more voltage than the other one did, even when it was good. So we might have to trim the case up on the inside, because I think sometimes we put these cases, the back case on there, I think this gets in the way. I think we have to snip off these 4 little spots there. Just take a pair of side cutters and just snip them off like this. And that will allow us to close this lid on it. So we'll just snip them off a bit. Take a little off the top. Alright, so let's, so what I do is I solder and heat shrink them. Red to red, black to black. It really doesn't matter. You can put black to red, red to black. That doesn't matter. These are a lot better quality transformers as well. And we'll snip this back a little bit. And then we'll crimp on some female spade connectors, and those will plug on right there. Now we'll take these 2 wires. I could butt connector them, you know, put a butt connector and, you know, crimp black to black, red to red, but, you know, I don't know. I just feel more comfortable making a solid connection, because if this wiggles and pulls loose, or connection doesn't get quite right, you know, you're just asking for issues and stuff. So that's what I do. I solder and heat shrink this. Black to black, red to red. Oh, damn it. Well, so I can see a little bit better. Okay, let's get the heat shrink out. How to put that stuff out? Digging around for a second, didn't know where it was hiding. Alright, see if this red will fit on there. It's a little snug. We'll take the blue. And we're gonna just, there's enough here, these little pieces, that I should just be able to cut it in half and use one. Should go on there just fine. Alright, now this board's probably got a charge built up in it, so I'm going to be careful touching stuff. I did discharge the big capacitor, but the little ones, those yellow ones, are probably got a charge on them too. So let's take these wires, or the heat shrink, and we're going to put it down over the red and the black, and we're just going to slide it down away. That way it's away from the heat of the soldering iron, so that way it doesn't accidentally start to pre-shrink. Come on, get up here. And we're going to put a little solder on the tip of the iron. And then we're just going to hold the two side by side real close and heat them both up at the same time. Stay put. Like that. Wiggles too much. Separate them out again. Come on. And then we'll take this little clip here. That will help hold that little wire from jiggling around. That's better. That's what I like to see. I'm going to do the same thing to the red one. Grab it, hold it still, take this wire, add a little more solder to the tip of the iron, hold them pretty even, and then heat them both up at the same time. Come on, don't wiggle too much on me, stupid. Alright, let's cool off for a second. Let me grab my heat gun, plug that in, and then we'll slide that up on there, slide this up on here, make sure it's centered over there so that way everything gets covered up when the heat shrink starts to shrink. All right. Put that back right about there. These wires will kind of slip down the side there. Once you put the lid on there, everything's be all right. Let's get a couple female spade connectors. We'll slip those on and crimp those on. That way you can plug onto the output terminals there. So this has got a black and a red as well, which does not matter. You would think black ground, red fence, but it doesn't matter. Actually, it's backwards anyway, so the ground's on this side, fence is on this side, but the black and the red part does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. Okay. Put this back cover back on. Put this cord where it needs to go. And then we'll take a I like to do kind of a crisscross pattern. All right. Like I said, it's still going to thump and click. It just will not have a light. Plug it in. It's actually a little louder too. Let's hook it up. causing some sort of issue inside my tester. You hear it arcing inside. Let me take a, I know it's working, but let me take a screwdriver and put it across here. See, it's snapping just fine. We got about a quarter inch, half inch spark, quarter inch spark out of it. Yeah, the tester's not liking that voltage coming out of the thing. Here, working inside here. I don't know. I'm having a. I got one more tester here. Ooh, I don't. I did, but I sold it to a guy. So I'm stuck with that tester right now. But I know it's working. You can hear it arcing inside my tester a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on there. Ooh, shit. See, it's working fine. Probably putting out 8, 9, 10,000 volts out of the thing. Alright, so, well, I appreciate you checking out the channel. This one's done. We're going to call the customer up. Pretty cheap fix to get this one going. I don't know what these things are brand new today, but a lot cheaper to fix this one and go out and buy a new one. And it's got a better quality transformer in it as well, so hopefully it'll last 10 plus years. Anyways, until next time, see you guys later on. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you'd like. Hit that thumbs up button if you'd like that as well. And send something in to us. We'll be happy to take a look at it for you. Free quotes and an 18-month warranty. Bye-bye.